Hey, what up guys, it is TheJZard here and welcome to my first ever Pokemon Countdown video. Today, I'm going to be counting down my favourite Pokemon regions. As you all know, at the time this video is made, there are 6 regions. Will we get any more? Who knows? We've just got to wait until the next Pokemon game is released. As a quick warning, this video will contain my own opinions, so be advised before you rage at the order I place the regions in. I'm not going to be basing these regions on the Pokemon they contain, but rather the design of the region and what it has to offer for the player. So, without further ado, I present to you my top 6 regions in the Pokemon franchise. Take a seat, grab a cup of tea and some digestives, and enjoy the video. Up at number 6, we have the good old Kanto region. Before you spam rage comments at me, just know I don't dislike any of the regions. So with that said and done, let's continue. I like how this region is actually a part of the Kanto region in Japan, as it's quite a creative idea. I also like how the region is laid out, as it looks simple but covers lots of locations within the region. A fun fact to know about this region in particular is that all towns and cities except Pallet Town are named after colours. Pallet Town is named after the palette artists used to put paint on and mix together, which I thought was quite clever. The main issue I have with the Kanto region is that in my opinion there aren't enough memorable locations. Don't get me wrong, it's not like the region doesn't have any memorable locations, because let's face it, there are, but the fact is there simply weren't enough. Locations I found memorable in particular were Cerulean Cave, the Indigo Plateau and the Seafoam Islands. I commend Game Freak for trying to correct this by creating the Sevi Islands in Pokemon Fire Red, however it still wasn't enough, as the only area that I particularly remember from the Sevi Islands is Mount Ember, where you could battle Moltres. So, moving on. Coming in at number 5, we have the Johto region. In my opinion, this place is higher than the Kanto region, and I'm about to explain why. First of all, we have the inspiration of the region. The Johto region was inspired mostly by the Kansai prefecture, as well as a part of the Chibu prefecture. I think this is really creative, as it combines 2 of the Japanese prefectures together. I also think that Johto has more locations that are memorable. Some examples would be the Lake of Rage, Bell Tower, Whirlpool Islands, and the king of them all, Mount Silver. I say the king because I love the climax that comes to climbing the tall mountain to battle the legendary trainer Red, and it is also a great battle. One more thing that I like is the feel of the region. Places such as Ecruteak City and Mount Silver, which is actually based on Mount Fuji, instantly scream that they are a part of Japan. An improvement to this region would have been to get rid of that really annoying dark cave. I felt as though it was just a way of filling space, as it holds no significance to the story, and it feels like an annoying blockade, especially as they could have added an extra town or city in its place. In 4th place, we have the latest region, Kalos. Kalos, if you didn't already know, is based off of France. This is clearly shown in certain locations such as Lumiose City, as we see the Lumiose Tower, which represents the Eiffel Tower, as well as minor details such as coffee shops and clothing shops to represent Paris's well-known fashion and culture. Another thing I like is how the Kalos region is circulated around Lumiose City, as it makes it the highlight of the region, similar to how Paris is the highlight of France as it is the capital city. There are 5 different routes that the player can take to reach Lumiose City. However, the game itself leads you in a clockwise rotation as you head over to Camphor Town first and then to Levair Town, but only after you have visited Lumiose City from Route 13, which I thought helped keep Pokemon X and Y well organised and well structured. There aren't too many memorable locations in this region, but there are a few. Some examples would be Lumiose City, Parfum Palace, Geosen's Town, as well as the Pokemon League. One improvement this game must have if Pokemon Z becomes a reality is that we need a better post game, because let's be honest, c'était très mauvais. That means it was very bad in French. See what I did there? Anyway, linguistics aside, there was literally nothing to offer in the post game, as Keylord City only had the Battle Maison and Friend Safari, so get to work, Game Freak. Next up at 3rd place, we have the Hoenn Region. The Hoenn Region is a very large region indeed, and is supposed to be based off of a tropical climate, which is one of its strong points in my eyes, as I love the tropics and have always wanted to visit there. This region definitely lives up to its setting, because when I travel to locations, such as Fortress City, I could see for myself that it is in fact a beautiful tropical region. I loved how this region looked back in the Game Boy Advance days, however the new remakes just make it look even more stunning. Hoenn had a nice variety of memorable locations, such as Meteor Falls, Evergrande City, Mount Chimney, and Moorville City in the remakes. I love the way Game Freak brought in the idea of the sea, land and air. which are three very important parts of the Earth structure, and they made Team Magma and Team Aqua plan to change it for their own benefit. An issue I do have, however, is that travelling around the region is quite painful. When I say this, I mean it isn't simply ordered like Kalos is. Instead you have to go anti-clockwise from Morville City, and then after the 4th gym you go clockwise again. I don't particularly mind the ocean like most others, since it is supposed to be based off the tropics. However, Route 134 is such a pain and I simply hate it. Moving on, earning the runner-up medal in this countdown is the Unova Region. The Unova Region is the 5th region in the Pokemon franchise, and there are quite a few good things to say about it. One of the things I like most in this region is how seasons were introduced. Given the Unova Region, seasons was an extremely innovative idea, as it let us witness the beauty of this region in multiple times during the year, and when the season does change, the appearance of locations do too. This led to ideas such as the snow piles in Icera City, and how you could only capture a Cubchoo during the winter. One other thing I like is how this region is based off of America, such as Castile City being created with New York in mind, another place I've always wanted to visit. Speaking of locations, this region serves us up some beautiful ones indeed. Some places I really liked in Unova were Castile City, as just mentioned, Nimbasa City, Chargestone Cave, Ends Castle, the list just goes on. An area that deserves a special mention, however, is Dragon Spiral Tower. This looming tower is the sum of epic, and it feels like a place that needs to be overcome in the original Black and White games. It's also the place where you fight an epic and awesome battle with N, and the mastermind behind Team Plasma gets this as you aim to save the world. Overall, I think this is a sublime region that seriously deserves more credit from Pokemon fans. It may not have been 3D like the 6th generation games, but for its time it was just gorgeous, and just imagine if it was in fact made in the same style and 3D methoding as Gen 6. That is an interesting thought if I had ever heard of one. The winner of today's countdown goes to the Sinnoh Region. The Sinnoh Region is structured on the Japanese island of Hokkaido. Let's start with what I like about this region the most. The thing I enjoy most is how it showcases all the climates the Earth has to offer. Snowpoint City is based off of winter climates, the resort area is based off of hot and tropical climates, Tube Life City is based off of modern day cities, and I simply adore the creativity of it. One place, like Dragon Spiral Tower, that deserves a special mention is Mount Coronet. Mount Coronet is by far my favourite mountain in the entire franchise, and it is also my favourite cave as a matter of fact. Want to know why? Well, simply put all of the lore behind it. First we have its origin. Mount Coronet was supposedly the place where the Sinnoh region originated. In legend it is stated that Arceus, the god of all Pokemon, made Dialga, Palkia and Giratina at the Spear Pillar alongside their respective orbs. He then fell into an unending sleep at the highest point of the mountain. That is more creative than what any of the other mountains have to offer. Next up we have the fact that all of the built up tension is released here at Spear Pillar. Here, Cyrus, the leader of the Team Galactic, used the Lake Guardians in order to summon Dialga and Palkia so that he can claim both time and space to create a new world in his ideals. Once Cyrus believes he has won, the mother of all demon Pokemon, Giratina, appears and grabs Cyrus, warping him into the Distortion world, leaving the tunnel open, which the player then follows in. The player then fights both Cyrus and Giratina and then returns home. That, viewers, is badassery at its finest. Some other memorable locations include all previously mentioned locations, the Three Lakes, Eterna Forest and Veilstone City and its Museum of Asteroids. The final thing I adore in this region is the Elite Four champion Cynthia. Cynthia has to be the best champion in the entire franchise, breaking the habit of a theme-type team used a mixture of powerhouses such as Milotic, Lucario and our ace in the sleeve, Garchomp. Well, to all of you viewers, that about wraps it up for my first countdown, and I hope you all really enjoyed it. I put a lot of time and effort into this video, so smashing that like button for me would be hugely appreciated. If we do good enough on this video, I'll make sure to do another countdown in the future. But that's it from me. Have an amazing day, you beautiful people. TheJZard is signing off. Bye bye.